For the first couple of decades they existed, video games were created almost exclusively for children. When developers grew up, so did their audiences. As a result, more video games were made for adults to play when their kids are away. Some push the boundaries a little, adding swearing or drinking, while some push even further, increasing the gore factor and blood effect by the bucket load. A select few, they curb stomp the boundaries, making players into virtual perverts or serial killers with no objective other than to shoot fools in the face. Again and again. Whether these types of games should exist is a topic for another day. These games, they're for grown-ups. Or no one at all. These are 10 shocking video games that kids should never play. The Guy Game. In an attempt to capture the Girls Gone Wild crowd, an adult infomercial of the late 90s, Top Heavy Studios developed The Guy Game. Released in 2004, the trivia-based game enticed male gamers with the chance to see bare breasts if they could correctly guess if a spring break hottie, as the game referred to them, answered questions correctly. Playable with up to 4 of your best bros, the game showed players questions, then video of bikini-clad beauties being asked the same one. The more times you were right about her being right, the more likely she'll be to take off her top. To actually see bare skin though, you needed to beat the game several times. It was quickly pulled off shelves, however, when one of the girls was found to be 17 at the time of filming, making the Guy Game a game no longer. Thrill Kill. A lot of games get pulled from shelves after lawsuits, or when public pressure becomes too hot, but very few get cancelled mere weeks before launch. Paradox Studios created Thrill Kill to be released in 1998, yet the publishers, Electronic Arts, never released the game due to a controversy over the types of death blows that could be given by your character. Attempting to be Mortal Kombat, but with 4 players, the fighting game was the first video game to receive an adults-only rating strictly due to violence. In order to win a round, players could initiate a finishing move, which included acts of bondage and had endearing names like Swallow This. Proving nothing will stand between a gamer and his banned content, the game was leaked by disgruntled employees and is widely playable today via emulators. Carmageddon. Society's acceptance of controversial media changes over time, hence the reason a game that was heavily censored during its initial release in 1997 is now available as a free download for your phone. Carmageddon, developed by Stainless Games, placed players in a race against virtual competitors and the clock. The best way to keep playing? Run over a few pedestrians. The more you kill, the longer you get to keep playing, as each vehicular manslaughter put precious seconds back on the clock. Inspired by the 1975 movie Death Race 2000, the game may seem tame by today's standards, but it still makes an awful impression for a young lad or lass who might be learning how to drive. If you're currently studying for your learner's permit, here's a tip. Keep your car off the sidewalk and your bumper off of people's butts. Custers Revenge. The Atari 2600 popularized the use of cartridge gaming systems, kicking off a booming industry still going strong today. When looking back, most smile at the nostalgia of the wood-grained console. They don't remember Custers Revenge. The game cast players as General Custer, allowing players to finally give the beleaguered Civil War soldier a win. You dodge arrows on your way towards your ultimate goal, which, unfortunately, they made having sex with an American Indian woman who's tied up to a pole. The game was condemned, as it should be, but the biggest thing people remember about the game? The size of Custer's cowboy boots and his penis. In order to make his manhood visible, game designers used a lot of pixels, resulting in an obviously excited Custer, giving a whole new meaning to the Battle of Big Horn. Conkers Bad Fur Day. At the turn of the last century, if you didn't have a cute animal mascot, you weren't marketing video games correctly. In an attempt to bring some adult humor to the Nintendo 64, game developer Rare, the folks behind Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, released Conkers Bad Fur Day. Debuting in the spring of 2001, the game flipped the platform genre upside down by having the game's main character a swearing, smoking, and heavily boozing squirrel. His simple quest was to return home to his girlfriend after getting hammered one night. A quest that was often interrupted by giant wasps, Nazi-like teddy bears, and opera-singing pieces of poo. Yeah, you heard that right. The cover art and gameplay look exactly like a kid-friendly game, but it dropped F-bombs from the time you pressed start to its fourth wall-breaking ending. Postal 2. When you're running errands, like picking up milk, sometimes the people you deal with make you so angry you want to shove a gun up a cat's ass and start blasting. Of course, the cops and PETA won't approve, so please don't use Fluffy as a silencer. Game developers running with scissors know sometimes you gotta let it out and created the Postal series of games. Postal 2 upped the ante over the first game in every way, making it a first-person shooter and actually adding a plot, well, sort of. The game turns every trip to the grocery store into mayhem as your character, the Postal dude, is taunted by the NPCs that live in his town, and Gary Coleman. What I'm talking about is a game about killing that can be played without actually killing anyone, which no player ever did. Hatred. The only game on our list for having ridiculous amounts of cute puppies and balloons. I'm totally kidding. We're talking about Hatred, a game about an angry dude who hates everyone and puts players in a position to kill, well, everyone. Guiding gamers through level after level where, spoiler alert, you keep killing your way to a nuclear power plant with the ultimate goal of blowing up New York City. Developed by Polish gaming company Destructive Creations, the game was dubbed a mass murder simulator by several media outlets. Shortly after its release on Steam, it was pulled, only to be reinstated a day later. The controversy eventually settled after its release, possibly because the game received so many negative reviews. Not because of the gruesome close-up deaths, but because the game was really boring. Manhunt 2. The second game to receive an adults-only rating for violence needed heavy editing to ensure a mature rating. Despite the changes, it still holds the title for one of the goriest games of all time. Developed by Rockstar, Manhunt 2 was released in 2007 despite the public calling for it to be banned, including former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. The stealth-based game has players attempting to escape an insane asylum with another inmate who may or may not be a figment of his imagination. Fight Club much? To keep critics at bay, developers blurred several kills and removed some, including a pair of testicles being ripped off by pliers. It also removed a scoring system that gave players a bonus if they killed someone in an awesomely horrific way. Upon release, several reviewers praised the game for its ability to make a squeamishly immersive experience. Replay. Unfortunately not pronounced Replay, this game started shocking with its title and plummets from there. When you put the word rape into the title, it's absolutely a game no one should play. Released in 2006 by Illusion Games and sold only in Japan, Replay attempted to make a story from one man's retaliation against the family of a woman who reported his perverted subway riding behavior. It starts bad and gets worse as the man captures the woman, her mother, and her sister and virtually assaults them in a variety of ways and settings. Yes, someone actually made this. Then they attempted to defend it, eventually relenting and ceasing distribution completely. You wondering how bad it could be? Well, it had an ejaculation meter to ensure you don't impregnate your victims. If you do, you die. I'm literally shaking my head. Grand Theft Auto series. When a game series becomes certified by the Guinness Book of World Records as the most controversial video game series in history, you might be onto something, especially if your series sells more than 250 million units. Since the first Grand Theft Auto rolled onto the scene in the late 90s, its protagonists have been shooting first and never really asking any questions. The third edition introduced improved graphics and killing hookers for fun. San Andreas introduced sex minigames, forever changing the meaning of a hot cup of coffee. The latest iteration, GTA 5, had players waterboarding NPCs to get information. Fun for the whole family. With almost 15 titles including expansions, these games stand as one of the biggest success stories in gaming, while being a game young kids wanted to play but parents wouldn't allow, because they were too busy playing it themselves. Now, I'm sure that some of you are already Googling some of these games, while others are ready for a shower. Whatever your taste in entertainment is, please keep these games away from your kiddies. And a few of them, keep away from yourself. Did we miss an entry or talk about one of your favorite games? Let us know in the comments below. And be sure to like this video and subscribe to CBR's YouTube channel to ensure you don't miss our next exciting video.